debate is coming up tonight, the presidential debate, the first of several. Supposedly, there will be another one closer toward the actual election, but we'll have the first debate coming up tonight. And, we talked about this morning during the show. What are the number one issues when it comes to voters? What are the top things on the minds of voters? Age and the economy, according to a piece this morning at the Washington Examiner. So concerned about the age of the candidates as well as the economy. The economy, we spent, a good portion of the last segment of the Greg Belfrage show this morning talking about the economy. And that's hardly a surprise. I think that's where, you're being impacted by the economy all the time. And every time you go make a purchase, so that just seems like a no-brainer to me that the economy is going to be among the big issues for a lot of voters. The issue of age apparently is an issue. Is that much of an issue for you? I'd welcome your thoughts on that. Age being a big issue. I think I'm going to ask that question today on Facebook. So, also, Donald Trump now is launching a website to fact check Joe Biden during the debate tonight. So they launched this morning. It's called factcheckbiden.com. Factcheckbiden.com. And it will give real-time updates and fact checks if Biden is caught not being honest and not telling the truth. So that was kind of interesting. That's new. I just saw that. They announced that this morning. And the website reads, Biden has been doing political debates for 50 years, having taken part in at least 40 debates since 1972. His performances are often filled with lies about himself, about statistics, about his record, and about events that never took place. We are holding Joe Biden accountable, the website says. So again, factcheckbiden.com. And the Trump campaign launching that this morning. There's also a piece this morning at the Washington Examiner. It didn't include his name. He's a regular, and I'm terrible with names. I apologize. It doesn't have it, but you'll find it at the Washington Examiner. And it says, debate day brings bad news for Biden. So, and he writes, on Wednesday, we saw a wave of new polls and analysis that adds up to terrible news for the campaign of President Joe Biden. The short version is that the race could be returning to the state it was in before Donald Trump's trial and conviction in Manhattan. For a few weeks after the guilty verdict, it appeared that the contest, in which earlier this year Trump had a lead between 1 or 2 points, now it's narrowed to less than a point, or perhaps Biden pulling ahead by a slight margin. He writes about this, and he says, but the optimism may be short-lived. On Wednesday, Quinnipiac released a new poll showing Trump ahead of Biden by 4 points among registered voters, 49 to 45. And I get a little bit excited, I think, at how close these polls are. The 49 to 45%. And I'm like, I know I say this all the time, but don't you just get shocked as you look at that? It's like, what in the world? What's going on out there? I cannot explain it. That's why I say bizarro world. It really is bizarro world, because I look at those and I go, this ought to be like 95% to, Also, yesterday, the New York Times and Siena released a new survey, and I talked about this on the show, showing Trump leading Biden by 6 points among registered voters, 48 to 42. That is a big enough lead then to be outside the margin of error Most polls have a margin of error of 3 to 4 points, depending on the poll. So generally, the Time survey also contained a number that might be even more concerning for Democrats. It found Biden's job approval rating to be 35%. 61% of respondents disapprove of the job that Joe Biden is doing. That's a powerful number. 61% of people in these polls are showing that they do not approve of the job that he's doing. Now, that doesn't mean that they're supporters of Donald Trump, but they're clearly not happy. He said also, the Nate Silver, who is a poll analyst, published a piece yesterday called "The Presidential Election Isn't a Toss-Up." He said, yes, either Biden or Trump could win, but the odds are in Donald Trump's favor, he says, to win the debate. And he writes, using a wildly complex model of analyzing data, Silver concluded that at the moment, Trump has a 66% chance of winning the debate. Now, we're talking about the debate, not the election. 66% chance of winning. Now, again, we'll know tomorrow. I mean, who won the debate? The polls will be out tomorrow, and then we'll know who won the debate. So I'm not like sitting on, pins and needles wondering who's going to wind up winning. Forgive me, I rotate this chair when I'm on the air, when I'm hosting the show. So as we're talking, I'm doing it. That's a bad habit. And this is a story this morning from FoxNews.com. And the headline made me laugh. Most Biden rally appearances are shorter than a sitcom. And they say, this is fueling concerns over Joe Biden's stamina. Yeah. See, that's what I'll be watching for tonight. I know where Donald Trump stands on most of these issues because I follow, what's going on fairly closely. I'm not saying he won't throw a curveball or two tonight. He may, certainly is possible. But that's not really the reason that I'm going to be watching. I'm curious to see as to whether or not Joe Biden can stand on his feet for 90 minutes. And as I told you yesterday, they've been having to practice this as part of their debate prep. The president standing for 90 minutes. That's part of the prep. And I'm like, boy, and I had a piece yesterday. Trump was, I think it was Newsmax. Yeah. He was asked about this the other day on Newsmax, Donald Trump was, because there are reports that are saying this, that part of the president's debate prep is whether he can stand for that amount of time. And Trump said, yeah, I heard about that. Actually, I was much more interested, and I wish I might have it. I got the stack of stuff here still from the show this morning. Here we go. It's right on the top. Doug Burgum, the governor in North Dakota, was on Fox News yesterday. And he talked about, he said, he pointed to the State of the Union speech. And he says, Joe Biden showed that he can do 90 minutes. I mean, at the State of the Union, he showed that he can do this. So Burgum says, don't expect Biden to show up and see like some of the YouTube videos where we see where he just goes off into, and starts chattering. Don't expect that. And Burgum says he doesn't. And Trump even touched on that in this interview with Newsmax. He says he's prepared for Joe. He's preparing for Joe Biden and for Joe Biden to actually show up. And so Burgum said this is a conversation he had with Martha McCallum. And he said he was being asked about, initially the question he was asked was about all the hysteria out there. Democracy, it's going to collapse under Donald Trump. Democracy. And again, despite the polls showing that when it comes to democracy, people favor Trump. If they want to preserve democracy, they're not looking to Joe Biden. They're saying, no, it's Donald Trump. And it's significant numbers of people who are saying that. So Burgum was being asked about this and about the government collapsing under Trump. And he said, well, Martha, I think you know that that's just ridiculous. The Democrats seem to have I love this. He said the Democrats seem to have two strategies. One is be afraid. And the second strategy is be even more afraid. Yeah. And that just doesn't, measure up. So, but Burgum went on. He said, and under this president, we're actually living under a dictatorship, he said. And he's talked about Joe Biden bypassing Congress on immigration policies, bypassing Congress on protecting our border. He's bypassing Congress on student loan forgiveness. He's defying the Supreme Court. I mean, those are the things that authoritarians and dictators do. They don't follow our democratic processes, and they just assert their own liberal view. And that's what the Biden administration's doing. And I absolutely agree. Doug Burgum, that was a home run, I think, with during this conversation that he had with Martha McCallum earlier this week. So I'll be watching, of course, tonight, and I know that many of you will be as well. And I saw Fox News will be, I guess, I saw us crawl on Fox News. It looks like they will be also carrying the debate tonight. And I think, that's generally the rule is whoever is hosting this debate is they will offer the feed then to other networks that wish to carry it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'll be watching. And then coming up on tomorrow's Greg Belfrage show, we'll get your reaction. And I'll be curious to know, what you think and what you notice tonight as you're watching and the things that stand out to you. So we'll talk about that in more detail coming up. Thank you so much for letting me join you today. I really do appreciate it. Those of you who invest time in the show and what we're doing, couldn't do it without you. I've said that many, many times. If you'll do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button. Really, really important. And share this with other people and let other people, especially like-minded people, know. I don't expect that your liberal friends are going to be saying suddenly, yeah, I'm going to start watching, a conservative talk radio show. I'm not going to start listening. But please let your like-minded friends know about what we're doing. And I would really greatly appreciate it. You can drop me an email anytime. Email's always open. greg.belfrage@keloradio.com. So we'll leave it there for now. Have a wonderful day. So long until tomorrow, and may God bless.